exploiting all the spaces, but at least we had a goalkeeper who was calm to make sure she does all the safe pairs for Ghana in the system. But Flourish, who committed the penalty, has been instrumental and a thorn of a flesh in the Ghanaian half since the first incursion, whipping in crosses, making sure. But how does it able to go and defend, and then that clumsy tackle? Would you say sometimes the best player of the day commits such blinder?
I mean, yes, obviously. Our most skillful players sometimes do not live up to expectation at certain crucial moment. Taking it back to the Bafuaka game where we saw the most skillful one miss the penalty. So it's not surprising to see that. But obviously, once Ghana is in the lead, that is the most important thing for them right now.
Looking at our captain who took the penalty, first penalty was taken. Referee said, no, you have to retake it again. What do you make of such players who take a penalty, make sure picking the same spot?
Mental toughness, she has that. For you to take it the first time, you didn't miss. The second time, you didn't miss. I mean, she's really, really good. Mental toughness, instructions, all that working for her today.
What are we expecting in the second half from both teams?
Personally, for me, I think they should hold on to the ball. Even if it ends in a 1-0, that is it for Ghana.
Are Ghana able to do that?
Most definitely. Looking at the pressures they had early in the first half, I mean, they can do that.
What should Nigeria be able to do to make sure they equalize and come up?
You think I should say that? But I mean, if they liaise with themselves, I mean, conversate with themselves, follow instructions, maybe they can get back into the game.
Nigerians have got in-depth, they've got experience. When we come to the under-20, they have been to all levels. This time around, coming up as a wounded lion in the second half. Seeing that cup, that beautiful trophy out there, do you think Nigeria will settle in?
No, I think Ghana has been hosted here, an advantage actually even for them. So Ghana will do all they have to do in the second half to keep it.
Okay, so Esther, in commentary position, will be taking us through the next 45 minutes here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium.
Welcome back to the Baba Yara Sports Stadium as the grand finale of the Wafu Zombie U20 Girls Cup live on Max TV. We had quite a very entertaining and intriguing first half, but that first half was won in terms of the score line by the Ghanaians. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0. They had the goal from the spot kick, which was beautifully converted by the captain of the Ghanaian team, Stella Nyameche. Second half about to start in earnest, and this is where these two teams would have to let everyone here see what these coaches retreated during the recess for the teams. In the second half, Nigeria in green playing from left to right, and Ghana in white in the second half playing from right to left. Faiza Seidu with a lovely exchange of pass with Stella Nyameche. Stella dashing forward, takes her time just when Helen Alomenu wanted to get to that ball. The Nigerians cleared. Esther Onyedize unable to pick that ball. It gets back to the captain, who manages to find Victoria Jumoke Alani. Free kick. Natasha blows a whistle, and the free kick is given the way of the Ghanaians. And Esther just stays on, watching the referee. She seems very baffled at the decision. Saved by Ingbechi of Nigeria. Nigerians trailing in this tournament for the first time. Prior to this grand finale, they were in a very sensational and fascinating form, not conceding a goal in 4 games. That is huge. Amina Bello runs into traffic with Helen Alomenu finding her captain. And the Ghanaians, Comfort Owusu with that lovely turn. Helen and Comfort would prefer to get the throw rather for her team. Helen for the Ghanaians with a long range one in, and Mefia Nyame manages to get to the end of the ball. Success to Stella Nyamiche, whose first touch was poor for the first time. So much uncharacteristic of her. And Stella, it's a very good definition of if you are good enough, it means you are old enough. Her level of IQ for football, the intelligence that she has for football is unprecedented for her age. 17 years. Very good. She had a transition, was part of the players of Ghana's Black Maidens that were given a smooth transition into Ghana's under-20 team, just as it was done for the Falconets of Nigeria. Most of these players were players of the Flamingos who have equally gotten transition into the under-20, which is the Falconets. And Fatimata, after taking a slip and looking at how Amina was running to the ball, decided to opt for safety as the first precautionary measure. Free kick to Nigeria. And the free kick will be taken by Mercy Chinere Kalu for the Nigerians. She was the player who had the MVP in the semi-finals when the Nigerians played against Benin. Free kick. And Messi manages to find Esther. Esther looping away. And that block from Mefia Nyame. So the tactics today being deployed by Coach Yusuf Bazigi is the all defend, all attack one. And that's the most reason why Mefia Nyame, a player that was expected to be up front, has dropped so much deeper to force a corner out of that one. Success clears. Sarah Koulibaly, another attempt, not on target. Goal kick with 50 minutes on the dot, and it was Taiwo Afolabi who came up with that attempt. Taiwo Afolabi, a very good defensive midfielder who plays for Delta Queens and was very instrumental for her team in the just ended season. Delta Queens would equally be playing the Super 6 in Nigeria. Esther Ubeyemi Ajakaye for Nigeria. Afi Gades for Ghana. The exploits of the Falconets, all these two teams, especially in their own way, they have very enviable records on their own. Nigeria's biggest defeat in international tournaments was the 6-0 defeat that they suffered in the hands of Japan at the Papua New Guinea World Cup in 2016. Free kick to Nigeria. Abena Anoma Opoku committed that foul, and the Nigerians would have this free kick to counter on in their pursuit of getting the equalizer. Afi with another one to defend, and Messi takes it. Quite a poor one taken by Messi. Another great header from Fatimata Husseini. Oluchi for the Nigerians. Sarah Koulibaly to Stella Nyamiche, who controls in an exquisite manner. Success is caught in between possession. Abanano Mopoku. And there, Abanano Mopoku, who seems to have been given a very late challenge there by Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye of Nigeria. And the advantage, referee, her attention was drawn to her by her assistant. And Abena Anuma Opoku, who missed Ghana's game in the semi-finals, due to injury, has recovered and is doing so much well defensively today for the Ghanaians. In her absence, Rose Boachua took over that mantle. Mercy Kalu to Chidima. Taiwo Afolabi back to Shukrat Oladipo, who hasn't really been seen much in this game. She hasn't featured that most as she has done in her previous games. Ubeyemi Ajakaye, and it's free kick to the Ghanaians. The reaction alone from Banana Mopoku, an expression of her displeasure for that foul by Esther Ubeyemi on her. Free kick to the Ghanaians. 55 minutes. Ghana still holding on to the lead that they had from that spot kick. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0.
Esther is not having a good day today as she had in the semi-finals. She has been man-marked by just two people that Abna is not giving her the space to make sure she gets her way to even get her on target. So Esther is now living dangerously, and because of that, she's getting angry and then making or committing fouls in and around when she's not supposed to.
Helen Alomenu manages to get corner kick for the Ghanaians. And Oluchi was the one who was so much radically defending that ball from Helen Alomenu. Stella Nyamiche will take this corner kick for the Ghanaians. Stella floats it in. Igbechi, another corner kick. Igbechi, who hasn't really been so much tested in this entire tournament. Before this grand finale, the first attempt wasn't successful, and in the second one, she runs into Comfort Yebua, who was lurking at the far end of the goalpost with intent. But Igbechi is still not fully recovered to continue for the Nigerians. Wafu Zombie U20 Girls Cup, the grand finale. Coach of Ghana's Black Stars, Chris Houghton, and his team manager, Aminu Shado, in attendance. The rank and file of Ghana football very much represented here. Stella Nyamiche to take the corner kick for the Ghanaians. And that means Nigeria would have to come up with very brilliant defending, just as Taiwo Afolabi did there. Free kick. Free kick for Nigeria. And Nigeria is yet to have a clear-cut chance being created by the team. They had only one glaring one in the opening half, and that one, Sebastian Flourish couldn't put it into the back of the net for them. They had 3 shots on target at the end of first half. Stella Nyamache with that glorious touch. Fatimata Husseini. Aminat Bello gets the ball. Throw in. So there is this tangle involving Opeyemi, Esther Ajakaye, and Abenanoma Opoku of Ghana. That's quite a long tussle to watch out for the remaining minutes.
How long will the Ghanaians still turn deep into their own half? They are leading. They need to open up, exploit places, and make sure they get the second goal to pushing them down. Because if you are leading by a goal to nil, it doesn't mean it's all that good. You still be leading dangerously till the time ends. But this time around, Flores, who has been the winger operating from all sort of on the pitch, is now being pinned down, and you definitely cannot see her movements. She's been missing in action, but yet they are still pushing the Ghanaians to make sure they equalize in this match.
And Ghana, Faisal Seidu wanted to get the better side of Jumoke Alani Victoria, but that wasn't meant to be. Oluchi with the ball for the Nigerians at the moment, entreating her teammates to dash forward. Throw in. Different teams, unique in their own ways and forms. Ghana with that advantage that they would have to enjoy there. And then Shukrat Oladipo of Nigeria, the Robo Queens defender, hasn't really been able to help attack in this game. Mefia Nyame for Ghana. Mefia gets a rebound for the second time. Stella Nyamiche takes a strike at goal. Ikbechi gathers, and she has to take some number of minutes to take a breather from that save. This young lady always has sights on the goal, and that was when she nearly ripped that one through as well to give the Ghanaians a better cushion in this game. But Ikbechi rose to the occasion. An hour on the clock. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0.
Stella has been playing an instrumental role in the hearts of Ghanaians. She is a leader by an example, and she's doing it all. Look at where she picked that drive and then nearly resulted in the second goal. No doubt now they are calm, passing, having those kind of fluidity in the match. Even though they are being defensive, they are yet and they are calm, giving out those passes, true passes, and making sure the 50-50 balls, they are picking all of them, making sure they hold on to possession to push forward. If you want to defend the goal, at least you have to have sight of the ball, hold on to possession, and then you can delay as much as you want.
Nigeria's under 20 team, the Falconets, have had a very flourishing start both in Africa and on the globe. The best results that this team have had in World Cup since their first appearance in the 2002 edition. They've made it a point to make it to virtually every other edition of this World Cup. In 2004, in 2006, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, and in 2015, 2018, and recently in 2022, the Nigeria's Falconets have had a very great start at the world stage. Afi with a save for Ghana. And that is how they just wanted to attack. This time around centrally from Esther Obeyemi Ajakaye. And success of Ghana goes to the ground. And that is what coaches do not love to see happening to their players, because they usually blow their teams, their tactics, their formations, and everything around these players. And everyone has a unique play, a unique and exceptional role to play in such formations. Happy for Ghana. And Ghanaians are still holding on to that goal that he had from Stella Nyameche. This is a player that when she was named as the captain of the team before the tournament started, she was so ecstatic and she pledged to make the country proud. When she was informed of the target of the team, that they wanted to make it a host and win affair, a campaign that was drowned home into the ears of these girls. And when she was named the captain, she said that she was going to do nothing but to ensure that that particular target comes into reality. Comfort Yeboah with Esther Obeyemi Ajakaye, and Esther manages to get that ball. She keeps it alive, but it goes behind. Throw in to the Ghanaians. 55 minutes.
Comfort Yeboah has been holding on Esther Ajakaye for a while now, and you can see she's getting a bit nervous and then not getting her day. Definitely, if you're a striker, a goal poacher, and then you are not having your way to get through or be on target, it's much more or less frustrating for Esther on the pitch of play now. Seeing her, she's been clearly committing fouls that she's not supposed, because she's not having that space and then that kind of passes that she could run through and then get her way through.
When the Falconets thought that they had their own records, which was very, very flourishing, the Ghanaians also indicated that they have quite a very glaring one as well. Ghana had their first appearance. The Black Princesses had their first appearance in World Cup for FIFA Under 20. They had it the first bid in 2010. And 2012, they made a comeback once again to the tournament. In 2014, they were there. 2016, they made it. And 2018, with a recent ban in 2022. In terms of their performance for other African Cup of Nations qualifications, their best was to be champion in 2010 and 2012 together with 2014. So these are different sets of teams, talents, a wealth of it. Nigeria, Amina Bello, but Sarah Kulble denied Amina Bello from getting that luxurious and delightful touch that could have caused the team. It took a deflection of Amina Bello herself. Goal kick to Ghana. Georgia Friye, a former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, is here to also be part of this history being made. And there he is. He was the former vice president of the then president of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantechi. And this is an interesting change coming from the technical team of Nigeria. Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye, the top scorer of this tournament, takes early shower for Adobe Oka to replace her. And that is the reason, because Esther hasn't really been lethal up front for the Falconets. But what does Adobe Oka brings to this game for the Nigerians?
Fatmata, Sarah Koulibaly, Comfort have been putting Ajakemi on check to the extent I told you she was getting frustrated, and then there are some fouls that she wasn't supposed to be. And now Adobe has come in. Adobe in the match came in to replace, and then she came in as a substitute, and she wasn't that bad. She also kept to manage that 3-0 victory against Burkina Faso. This time around, she has come in for the top scorer, Esther. So we'll see what Christopher has brought on his card now.
Adobe Oka, a player who has gotten 3 goals so far in this tournament. She is very good. Whenever she comes in as a replacement, in their game against Niger, she had a rare start, and she excelled for the team. Mefie Nyame of Faith Ladies and Igbechi, who is furious, is issuing instructions to her teammates. Igbechi Adlin of Delta Queens has conceded for the first time in this tournament. Stella Nyamiche goes for goal. Just whisk her away. How does she always manage to come up with such strikes? She's just a tactician. Too good for her age. Very, very wonderful player. A great addition for the Ghanaian team. Great header by Abena Anoma Opoku, Comfort Owusu, and Adobe Oka. But Comfort managed to get that ball at the expense of Adobe Oka. Oluchi before Afi. Oluchi with that first header before Igbechi nearly allowed the Ghanaians to get the second. Helen Alomenu and Esther. "70 minutes on the clock." Messi Kalu for Nigeria. And Messi Kalu is a player of Nasarawa Amazons in Nigeria. A very, very good midfielder. And in this season, they even made it to the grand finale. So if you look at how football has evolved in terms of that for the women in Nigeria, football which was introduced for the first time in Nigeria in the year 1978. What a break for the two teams. And the Ghanaian coach is calling his players to speed up and get closer, because he really has some words for them before the game kickstarts once again. And Igbechi is having a word with her coach, Christopher Danjuma Musa. In 1978, when football for women was introduced in Nigeria, it was through the foundation that was named as NIFWA. Abbreviation is for Nigerian Female Football Organizing Association, which was later renamed as the Nigerian Female Football Proprietors Association in 1979. And that was when they started, before teams began to be formed in the 1990s. And that has created a huge opportunity for girls to showcase to the world, girls in Nigeria to have the avenue of showcasing to the world that they are good when it comes to football. Nigeria's corner kick. Esther retakes. Afi with the critical save for Ghana. Another double one, and this time around, it goes straight to the arms of Afi. And look at how some of the officials of the Ghanaians are so baffled, mesmerized that Afi has managed to keep Nigerians at arm's length. The header from the substitute, initial one from Adobe Oka, and Taiwo Afolabi with his low drive, and still Afi had a sight on the ball and gathered for Ghana. And that save is celebrated. Look at what the captain is telling her. You are on course. We are depending on you to give us the results. These are the exact words of the captain, Stella Nyamiche, to her goalkeeper, Afi Amenyeku.
Of course, you have to be giving that kudos to Afi for saving you on the double occasion. One was a clear corner kick that nearly resulted. That was a block with the leg. And then the second one, John Boy or Comfort Yewa was just behind her, making sure it doesn't go past them. That was a brilliant free kick by all standard, but it nearly resulted in an own goal as well. As I'm seeing it, that first header was from the own opponent, Success Amiya, and that would have been even dangerously. But hey, kudos to the Ghanaians. They have defended brilliantly on the day, and Afi is having a good day because she has saved Ghana, and as at now, comfortable leading the Ghanaians is kind courtesy by Afi. With this great save, definitely Nigeria would have been pulling one back or even taking the lead.
75 minutes on the clock. And Afi of Northern Ladies, she was the brain behind the resurgence of Northern Ladies in the Ghana's Women's Premier League in the second round. They managed to end the season as part of the top four in the northern zone of the Women's League in Ghana's Premier League for the women. And that is what she has proven to be in this game, showing the reason why Coach Yusuf Bazigi reposted her that confidence to be in goal post for the team throughout this tournament. And Deborah Brown, a goalkeeper of Ampim Dakwant Ladies, is also waiting anxiously to give a helping hand when the need arises. Nigeria, but Ghana clear their lines, and Faiza Seidu is also very good up front. Adobe Oka to Amina Bello, Afolabi to Messi Kalu for Nigeria, and free kick. Helen Alomanu took a bit of Messi Kalu before Stella Nyamiche pounced on that loose ball. Yes, she picked a bit of her. The referee spotted that. Free kick. Free kick to Nigeria. And Afi, who has been so elastic in goal post for Ghana, is the reason why that lead that he had from the first half is still holding. Free kick taken, and Messi gets it wrong once again for the Falconets with that free kick. And Afi didn't bother much in their attempt to clear a throw because it wasn't even on target. So this would be a huge victory if the Ghanaians would be able to hold on. But they are playing against a very, very relentless team, a relentless side like Nigeria. Flourish, Sebastian, and Mefia Nyame is well positioned once again to clear for Ghana. And Ghana having an array of substitutes on the bench. Corner kick. Fatimata gives away corner kick for the Ghanaians. Adobe Oka reckoning to her teammates to flood the 18-yard box of the Ghanaians because this is a dead ball situation. Anything is possible. A wasted effort. And look at what Comfort Eboy is doing. So much free to do that because that strike wasn't even on target. And basically chance that should be a penalty. But what of the action of Comfort Eboy in the goalpost?
I guess they are happy as the way they have defended really well to the extent that the goal poacher, which is Esther, who was kept in their pocket, has been taken out. Now there's a bit of room for them to operate, and calmly they are defending their lines brilliantly. At least if you can't get more goals, you will have to defend and defend well to the end of the time.
Throw into the Falconets of Nigeria amidst the boos from the fans. But what could have warranted that?
I guess it's the ball boys are trying to keep on to the ball. I think they have given a warning not to be doing that. They have to make sure the balls are on place and then giving it out, not to waste much time.
In such grand finale, everything is possible. Teams will do everything to get the results that they are so much desiring to have at the end of the game. And that is the substitute Adobe Oka, who was introduced by coach Christopher Danjuma for Nigeria. Amina Bello dashes forward. And that is a corner kick to Nigeria. Nigeria gets a corner kick. I wouldn't be too surprised if coach Christopher Danjuma introduces Okpe Kasarachi Blessing into this game, because in such moments and in their previous games, she has been one of the preferred substitutes for coach Christopher Danjuma. Corner kick by Esther. A very stupid header from Comfort Owusu. And it was only Faisal Saidu who was there up front for Ghana. Faisal Saidu throw in with 10 minutes left to end the game. And Faisal Saidu, Ghana making a substitution, introducing their second top scorer in the season, Mariam Ponsan, who plays for Ampim Dakwant Ladies. She comes in to replace Faisal Saidu for the remaining 10 minutes of the game. Corner kick. Well, that couldn't get to the corner. It should rather be a throw-in. It will be thrown in to Nigeria with just 9 minutes on the clock left. Ghana 1, Nigeria 0. Nigeria, Sarah Koulibaly Sarah Klible with that timely clearance for Ghana. And Comfort Yeboah was so well disciplined with her hands on her body to avoid any dramatic situation of a handball that can end the Nigerians equally a penalty. Afi Amanyaku in her elements gathers very nicely for Ghana. Great save from Afi.
First touch wasn't good, but second time she had a grip of it. Ghanaians are living dangerously. Nigerians have started asking questions and asking questions upon questions again. For this past few minutes, it's Nigeria who has been putting pressure on the attack of the Ghanaian defense. And then you can't be defending deep inside your half. They need to make sure they pounce on the loose ball, hold on to possession in the midfield, and then make sure they have that kind of true passes. If you really want to defend, you don't defend deeply. Anything is possible. It can be result in anything, penalty, deflections, or whatever it is. So they need to be careful in such situation. 7 minutes more to go. They are able to do it. If
Amina Bello for the Falconets of Nigeria, she gets a corner kick for her efforts. Jumoke Alani Victoria fed Amina Bello, but success blocked that attempt of delivery from Amina Bello. And Nigerians have the numbers. Another poorly taken corner kick from Esther. The Nigerians are not happy. And Afi Amanyaku has been given a caution by the referee for delayed tactics. With just 5 minutes. This is an inaugural tournament altogether. The first of its kind, newly introduced in the month of April when the draw was held in WAFU headquarters in Ivory Coast. That was when the respective teams that were going to participate knew their various groups. Ghana, as the host nation, was put in Group A together with Benin and Ivory Coast. Nigeria were in Group B together with Niger. They had Niger in their group, Togo and Burkina Faso. Ghana, Helen Alomanu, Clares, Afolabi Taiwo for Nigeria. And Nigeria get the chance to equalize, and they do. 1-1 is the scoreline. Flourish. Sebastian would be the happiest of all the Nigerian players. She was the one that gave away the penalty, and she has been the one that has scored for her team. Right on the stroke of ending the game. What a dramatic end it has turned out to be. Taiwo Afolabi started this attack and build up. Managed to find Amina Bello, who came up with that dip. And Afi Amanyaku for the first time missed that ball. And this is what flourished. Sebastian, who is already on 3 goals in this tournament, wouldn't miss for anything. What an end to this game. Ghana won, Nigeria won.
Game on. Esther, I kept on saying this, that how on earth, how long will Ghanaians keep on defending their lines? They need to hold on to possession and make sure they make that clear-cut incursion. Now is a game on, 1-1, the 86th minute. You will have to be heading towards extra time as you look at it. Either than that, who is grabbing the winner at this particular few minutes left on the clock?
Nigeria have a player of theirs on the ground. And this is what the Ghanaians were not really expecting to happen. But they should have known that they were playing against a very good team. The fascinating team of the tournament with 100% record. A team that hasn't conceded, and they only have to concede through this spot kick and this grand finale. And that is the hallmark of champions. Nigeria have gotten the equalizer with just 3 minutes to end the game. Free kick taken by Nigeria. And Ghana defend their lines well, but this follow-up goes behind for goal kick. Afi. Messi Kalu and Afi saves rather. Mefenyame, Comfort Iabua. And there is this kind of silence here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium from the home fans. Just when the equalizer came for the Nigerians, they thought it was game over for them. But that wasn't meant to be. The Nigerians have come in strongly with that equalizer. Comfort Iabua for Ghana.
Esther, they came in strongly. I kept on asking that the Nigerians have been asking questions upon questions, and then within 5 minutes, how many corner kicks would you have in that within 5 minutes? More than on countless corner kicks upon, and it wasn't delivered well. So Ghanaians kept on defending, and I said to them that they need to hold on to ball possession, not to be defending that deep into their half. And then this has resulted. Just one kick, good pass, brilliant, and then Flourish pounds on it, 1-1, game on. Is it going to be extra time, straight to penalties, and now still committing mistakes?
Messi Kalu for Nigeria, and that is a push, and the referee gives the Nigerians a free kick. And at the end of 90 minutes, if none of these teams is able to get a winning goal, it's going to be straight penalties as decided by the match commissioner for the game. So it's just the 90 minutes is up already, and Nigeria have this dead ball situation to get something meaningful out of it. 90 minutes, Ghana 1, Nigeria 1. And it will be 5 minutes of additional time. Esther went for goal. She had different ideas. Goal kick to Ghana. And these two goalkeepers, if the game ends 1-1, that is where a heroine would be so much sought after by these two teams. Mary Amponsa for Ghana, dashing forward. She manages to send a good delivery, and Ghana have a chance to get the second. There, it rattles the goalpost. How was that missed? It rattles the goalpost. And the Ghanaian players are protesting to the referee that had already crossed the line, but the ball crossed indeed. So this is how Mariam Ponsa began the attack for the Ghanaians. Managed to send a good delivery. Oluchi slipped. Nefie Nyame's strike was blocked. And there, Messi Kalu, even on the floor, cleared once again. Before this, did that cross the line or not?
Even if it did, I think the whole circumference of the ball didn't cross the line, Esther. So already the piece had it spot on. It didn't. The whole circumference of the ball did not cross the line. So automatically, it's game on. This is how the Ghanaians will want to fight back at the very last minute to redeem their image, to still take that commanding lead, not to take the ball to penalties.
Corner kick to Ghana, quickly taken. Mary Akosa heads, and once again, Ghana failed to get the goal from this attack. Stella Nyamiche, another corner kick. Nervy moments in the final minutes of this game. Very nervy moments. This is where passion has to come to play, but the brain needs to stay sharp. And that is why the Nigerians are trying their possible best to allow their brains to stay sharp before the last 2 minutes of this game. Another corner kick, the third consecutive one for the Ghanaians.
Tables have turned now. Pressure on the Nigerians now. How is Ghana able to do that in this very last minute?
Corner kick taken by Ghana, and another crucial save by Igbechi. Just after that save, she goes to the ground. So this was the other corner kick taken. And Stella Nyamiche was the one who took it. Igbechi Adeline, the goalkeeper of the Falconets of Nigeria, in a very discomfort state. She is the key goalkeeper of Delta Queens, the Nigerian team who play in their Super League as well. What a turn of events this game has really developed into. So that was when Messi Kaluchnere, even on the ground, was defending wholeheartedly for the Nigerians. The ball seems not to have crossed the line. From that replay once again, and looking at where the assistant was positioned and the referee as well, it's a clear indication that they really had a very good view of it and took the right decision that they thought is befitting to the incident that unfolded.
But what a goal would that have been, Esther, in that dying vessel of the game? It just took another twist and another turn, and Ghanaians were now had the upper hands on the Nigerians. What a dramatic ending that we have had here. This is a promising and a beautiful football that we have witnessed here today at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, and then this is what we are all looking for. The supporters have been in their most supporting to make sure the teams share them into victories, but when Ghana or the equalizer came, you saw that kind of that silence that when a pin dropped you could really hear. But when they were making that clear-cut chances, surging forward, making sure that off-post kick made sure the stadium engulfed, making sure they were in the right mood to the end of the game.
What a tantalizing end to this inaugural tournament of the Wafu Zone B U20 Girls Cup. Ghana as the host nation playing against their familiar foes, a team that they are so much familiar with in both gender. Igbechi Adeline. That is a very devastating scene to behold. She seems to have had a head-on collision. So we take a look at the goals that were scored. That was from Stella Nyamiche of Ghana from the spot kick in the first half to put her country in the lead. And look at that for a celebration, a rapturous one. That is how it means to the fans of these Ghanaians. And this was when Taiwo Afola and Amina came up with this build-up that helped Flourish Sebastian to make amends to get the goal. But that is a goal where she was unmarked, empty goal post. Yes, even with the eyes closed, she will still find the back of the net. She does that to get the equalizer every 86th minute for the Falconets of Nigeria. This really has lived up to a grand finale that is indeed worth celebrating. And Afi Amanyaku, on this occasion, some of the fans will think that she let her team down.
Of course, Esther, she really indeed let her team down at that particular time that we were living up to expectation, making sure just about some minutes much more to go to just grab that enviable trophy. You let your team down like this. I think she's done brilliantly in the very first half that we were thinking she had a good day. But this time around, I don't think they will forgive her for that. But Flourish, who committed that penalty that caused the Nigerian team in the very first half, made amends to it in the second half. Good goal, and then we are all back in it. We'll see who wins the maiden edition of the Wafu Zone B U20 girls.
Ingbechi Adeline of Delta Queens. The Nigerians are fortunate to have her back on her feet. We were left with just a minute of the injury time before proceedings come to an end, and for the winner to be determined through the spot kick. That was when she picked up a knock and needed to be attended through. So looking at the minutes that had to be wasted during that moment, it meant that play would have to continue for some number of minutes before perhaps the final whistle will come up. And Ghanaians are preparing to make a change. They are introducing their key player in the heart of midfield, Wasma Mohammed, for the final minutes before the whistle goes. Wasma plays for Northern Ladies, and she was very, very great for the Ghanaian team in their games that they played. Amina Bello, look at that for a sliding tackle all the way from Sarah Kuliblake of Army Ladies. Another team that are enjoying their second season in Ghana's Women's Premier League. Helen Alomenu of Ghana. And there she's been helped on to be back on her feet by her teammate Mariam Ponsan. Throw-in taken by Nigeria. Good control there to spray away Abna Anoma Opoku before Fatimata Husseini cleared the lines. And there referee Natasha blows her whistle. Well, before then she says a substitution should be made first by the Ghanaians before any other further decision from her. Mefia Nyame has been replaced by Wasma Mohammed. Substitution. And this should be some of the decisions from the technical team of Ghana ahead of the spot kick. That is, if there is no goal before the final whistle. And there, the final whistle comes. Ghana 1, Nigeria 1. So this is how the grand finale of the Wafu Zone B U20 Girls Cup has turned out to be. A winner would have to be decided through the spot kick, as based on the decision that was communicated to from the match commissioner. And Messi Chineric Halu, together with Jumoke Alani Victoria, they knew that this is a tough game that they have played in this tournament. And Ghana, on the other hand, for the first time, have got into this stage in this tournament. In the semi-finals, all of these two teams had progression to the finals with ease. Nigeria beat Benin by 3-0. Ghana, on the other hand, beat Burkina Faso by 3-1. And they met for the first time in this tournament. And at the end of 90 minutes, it's 1-1 apiece. So what happens next? The adage says that football and penalties can really be a win for either side. But there have been countless occasions where goalkeepers have indeed helped their respective teams on to cheer to make it in such moments. And that was recently witnessed in the FIFA World Cup that took place in Qatar 2022. Goalkeeper Martinez of Argentina was the hero when Argentina clinched on to that World Cup trophy that is so much desperately desired to have. That is one of those countless moments that goalkeepers have held their respective teams. And here, Igbechi Adeline of Delta Queens, together with Afia Menyaku of Northern Ladies in Ghana, this is where these two would have to help their teams as well. So referees having words with the two captains, Stella Nyameche and of course Oluchi. They need to listen to it with rapt attention, because any failure to adhere to any of those instructions would mean a different thing altogether. But the final one could definitely be a retake if there is a fallout in adhering to any of such instructions. So the toss is made the moment that none of the fans of these two teams yearned to have gotten to is here. Penalty from the spot kick, 12 yards. Which team would walk away with the bragging right and the trophy of being the winners of the inaugural tournament that was introduced by Wafu. These are moments that everyone is not spared of. Those anxious moments. The anxiety is for the anxiety in all angles and all spheres from the teams. But the principal actors themselves are the ones who would, in the long run, be at the receiving end of such nervy moments. What is going to happen from this sport kick? Afi Amenyeku for Ghana, Adeline Igbechi for Nigeria. Which of these two goalkeepers will turn out to be the heroine on the day? But the two coaches are still sorting things out in reference to who their penalty takers would be. And Afi Amenyeku is ready and going through her final prayers. And so are the other players doing same too. This is a huge moment. Christopher Danjuma Musa of Nigeria has managed to finally sort things out with his players, and they move away from the technical team. And look at these fans checking each other's temperature before the penalties is taken. That tells you how anxious they are. Natasha, the center referee, reckoning to the two teams to ready themselves for the decisive moment in this tournament. For the tournament, there's inaugural one has turned out to be Nigeria versus Ghana. Ghana and Nigeria played in penalties recently when the Black Galaxies of Nigeria played against that. When the Black Galaxies of Ghana played against that of Nigeria, and the Ghanaians won 5-4 penalties. That one was for the males, but here is for the females, and these girls are going to be separated from the sport kick. And it will be Adeline Igbechi of Nigeria to be in goal post, and that means the first penalty will be taken by the Ghanaians. Prayers, moments where each player goes through what he or she believes the most on religious grounds. But after the prayers, the task still remains to be cleared. Who will be the first penalty taker for Ghana? Ghanaians still sorting things out as Igbechi Adeline patiently awaits the first penalty taker of the Ghanaians. She goes to her knees, waiting. But this is a game and a moment for anyone, for any team. And that's why it's called a sport kick. Whatever happens, happens. You don't have the benefit of a retake unless the goalkeeper flouts any of the rules. But if a player fails to score, then that means there can never be a retake. And there, Comfort the Abua of Ampem Dakwan ladies. She herself was involved in the penalty nature of this salt when her team played in the grand finale of the Ghana Women's Premier League finals. And she was the first penalty taker for the team. And she goes again. Such a very dead ball specialist. Comfort the Abua against Igbechi Adeline of Nigeria. And Comfort has to show that there's responsibility for the Ghanaians. She does. And that's where she always scores. Top corner before she celebrates. And she's telling her, I told you can't save my penalty. And that is what she has done. Comfort the Abua. She scores in an amazing manner for the Ghanaians. Time for Afi Amenyaku to also do her part. That was a penalty which Comfort the Abua took for the Ghanaians. Chidimma Oguchi of Robo Queens is about to take this penalty for the Nigerians. Chidimma Oguchi. Chidimma against Afi Amenyaku. Ghana is already leading. Chidimma. Afi saves. Chidimma fails to score. And the fans of the Ghanaians celebrate. Afi Amenyaku had a very perfect direction of the ball and saved for the Ghanaians. And Chidimma Oguchi with the first failure in her attempt to seek parity for all the penalties taken. Georgina Aisha of Ghana, who plays for Pelpia Ladies, is behind, coming up against Adeline, and Adeline saves. Georgina fails to score two, and Adeline Igbechi tells her teammate to calm down. Difficult moment for Georgina, who can't even raise her head. She knows that she has failed the team. But that's what penalties are for. It's either you score or you miss. The Nigerians did before. She also missed it. And Flourish. Sebastian is coming in for this penalty for Nigeria. a captain who has scored, a player who has scored 4 goals, a striker who is very, very promising, was part of the team that played for the Flamingos in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup last year. And here she is with a chance to make it 1-1 on the penalties for Nigeria. And Flourish will take this for them. She plays for Bayelsa Queens. Flourish against Afi Emenyaku. And Afi makes a double save. Afi with a second consecutive save for the Ghanaians. Flourish of Bayelsa Queens fails to score. She has the equalizer at the dying embers of the game, but she fails to score from the spot kick. So that means Ghana 1, Nigeria 0 for the spot kick. And Stella Nyamiche, she scored from the spot kick in the first half for Ghana in this game. A player of Dreams Ladies, a 17-year-old girl who is also a coach, captaining her team to such a major tournament. She has the responsibility. She does in a very fashionable manner. Stella Nyamiche scores for Ghana. So it's Ghana 2, Nigeria 0 for the number of kicks taken. And this is where she couldn't even get the direction. And this is just a sensational player. And Afi Emenyaku with a save can help Ghanaians to clinch this title. And Esther is taking this penalty. She has been the player who takes all their penalties in this tournament so far. Ghana have scored 2, Nigeria none. And if Esther doesn't score, that means Afi has made 3 crucial saves for Ghana. All the 3 penalties, Esther failed. And Afi has become the heroine of the Ghanaian team. She started with his exploit in the early minutes of the game, and she has continued through to the extra time, through the penalties for her team. If Helen Alomenu scores, it means Ghana would be crowned the champions of this inaugural title. Helen of Esiam Socrates against Ingbechi Adlin of Delta Queens. Helen fails to score. And Adeline is beckoning to her teammates that I have made 2 crucial saves. What are you doing to help me as well? Helen Alomenu missing this glorious chance to help Ghana for them to be crowned champions of this maiden edition of such a prestigious tournament. And Afi is coming up against Messi Kalu Chinere of Nigeria, the midfield maestro of the Nigerian team. She won the MVP in their game in the semi-finals. Messi, if she misses this, would be doomed for the Falconets of Nigeria. Messi against Afi Emenyaku. She scores. And that is the first penalty that has been scored by the Nigerians. Afi couldn't find a direction. And that means the final kick, if Ghana scores this, it would mean they would win this tournament with 3 spot kicks, which were well taken. Igbechi Adeline has the utmost responsibility of saving this for the Nigerians. If only she would want to keep the hopes of the Falconets and of course the entire Nigerian country alive at the moment, who are watching across. Igbechi Adeline against Mariam Ponsa, and she scores. Ghana are the inaugural champions of the WAFU Under-20 U Girls Cup. The host and win mission and the campaign that they had before the commencement of this tournament is successful. Mariam Ponsa with the last kick for the Ghanaians. She is the second top scorer of Ghana's league that recently ended. She took a huge breather before this lovely penalty kick to help the Ghanaians win this maiden tournament. Huge, huge congratulations to the Ghanaian team and commiserations to the Nigerian team. This is what football is all about. But the Nigerians, in the long run, will take solace in the fact that they lost gallantly, having been able to come to this competition and only concede in the grand finale. This is a huge win for them. They lost, but the consolation will be that they lost gallantly. But for the Ghanaians, the host and win mission is accomplished. Coach Yusuf Bazigi and his technical team would forever remember this day, and so would every fan who watched across the globe this wonderful tournament, which was aired live on Max TV, courtesy of Vivax Media. Equally be happy that this was indeed a tournament deserving of its wealth. The Nigerians would have to go as runners-up for the Ghanaians to celebrate as the winners.
Everybody knows acrobat, and if you know acrobato, it means you know Endpoint Homeopathy Clinic. As an international journalist and actor, my health is my priority. Endpoint Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar in terms of my health. Let's hear what others are saying about Endpoint Homeopathy Clinic. Sister, please, let him talk to you. Who will be careful Endpoint one?
Chesenami and Casami Pro, let's say problems room. Into now, my one idea, mammy, papa patches and I some Katua. I'm quite pointing on, we share me with them, no heavy beer, and also woman do, mamma do, I'm a fire, and my own cram, you know, who for one I'm quite more. Eba. Tell me, Jeddy, I bet you
heard everything yourself.
Mamma, no, I Juju, at the Hoa won't me, Nancy. And then call Endpoint, or Mamma Nura, and then a white dear, what's me a sorry, Nancy.
That's Endpoint for you. Of Acrobato. Hello. Okay. A free bra with the Endpoint, what does it? I'm a choir. Me just say my name Koye, and person my main and a Medina Sabema. Now, me be here for the hard in You heard everything. I have secret. Endpoint is my secret. Endpoint Homeopathy Clinic. I'm free.
So me sorry anopa. And now me say me didn't nafa lady clinic see me huntino. And it's ya me di sorry efrim pem. Yes, sonko.
Already 2 teams from Group B to following their success against Benin in their opening fixture have placed them.
Me stretch your cry, and now some the Nafa Lady Clean, and it's yes, me home. Nafa Lady Clean, a feminine hygiene washer, a poor SSC or bar, what he fee, or now one thing carbon idea. Nafa Lady Clean. Feel confident with Nafa Lady. This advert has been vetted and approved by.
Hey, catch it. Don't watch you. I don't want anything to go wrong on my baby's day. In fact, what's your name?
Hey, it's Baranala.
I'm already wearing a pad. Can I relax? No, my day is ruined, you guys. You don't understand.
Pay this.
Everyone is talking about it. It has a super soft cotton feel.
I've lived and need, but not you, my daughter.
This is reflow sanitary pads. They are heavy pads, have 4 wings to prevent leakages.
Once the reflow senkai, it's up to 10 hours of absorbency. Their diapers are what JJ uses.
And one I'm a debua manu na a strong cobra.
See.
Gainike Yeden chia stronko free Iona Pharmacy mamunyina. Yede Gainike syrup aba. Gainike eboa eyi afichikro emu haw ahodo te se afichikro emayi de etutusi basabasa ene afichikro mu yaw ahodo no nyina efiri hokra. Gainike boa ema atenka akofem no san peja ne mu yie pa. Gainike boa yema menomu a wanya menopause. Eho haw ahodo te se ohonam a ehyehew na eyira wo no abufuo atete ene de atete saa no nyina. Gainike brena sekra adrei enkoda a onimfie edumienu entumi mfabi ubenya bi ewo pharmacy license chemical shop ana herbal shop a eben wo pendodo atu a fre Iona Pharmacy. Gainike ebeye wo de FDA ahwehwe adwade nkrato mu agye atum se eye
Onyanko pacha doctor to baby.
Afei na twere ensem a ese moni duana ba mfo na haban ensa yale na abamu Dr. Tam da so ama oyalefo bia nya enida so se ne yale befire ne so wo ebra wode nani akyerem wo medimafo heba clinic oyalefo ba ho na ohye na ebra empa ho gise de wawuo ana wasie no nko na ontumi abubuafo enante anifrafo esna panie stroke diabetes pressure ne yale nkan ne nyina aye entatia case wasiesie na yale sabia ho kama doctor se fakakredi beje wayalesa wo kumase abuakwa ago oyalefo bia kaise udimafo ye medimafo eba clinic Dr. Time Daso.
There were moments that the header that they had reverberated the goalpost. And this was one of those glaring moments as well. When they thought that the ball had crossed the line. So the winners were decided through the spot kick. The saves that were made by the respective goalkeepers and Flourish, Sebastian missing this, with Afi Amanyaku saving and Stella Nyamiche converting sensationally before Afi made another crucial save, and then Helen failed to give Ghanaians what to celebrate early. And Mariam Ponsa had that moment of winning it all for the Ghanaians from the final spot kick. So it ends. Ghana 1, Nigeria 1, but on penalties, Ghana won 3-1. And that is how the Wafu Zombie U20 Girls Cup comes to an end beautifully here at the Baba Sports Stadium in the Garden City of Ghana. All the teams are waiting anxiously and patiently for their turns, in order for them to get their medals. One would have to go with the gold, the other with the silver, and the other the bronze. Burkina Faso had bronze after beating Benin by 2-1 in the third place game that took place earlier. Ghana, Nigeria, the results have been seen by all. So these are the officials of WAFU. The president of WAFU Zone B, President K.T.S. Okreku, who doubles as the president of the Ghana Football Association. He would indeed be a very happy personality among them all for his country to have hosted and a team from his federation to have won the title it's something that tonight I doubt he would sleep. He would celebrate and cherish for a very long time. He is in the company of WAFU executive directors as well, who were here in their numbers, as well as the Ashanti Regional Minister, the minister in whose region this prestigious tournament took place. This is mega, this is significant, this is huge, this is glamorous, and indeed very, very magnificent for the Ghanaian team. And in entirety, this WAFU will go down in history as one of the best organized tournaments. In all the games that were played, over 13 games. And now, the player of the tournament has been given to Stella Nyameche of Ghana's team, the young 17-year-old girl who is CAF License D coach, currently pursuing her CAF License C coaching license as well. She is the player of the tournament, and she gets a warm embrace from the president of the federation and the respective dignitaries. Stella Nyameche, a captain that led through it all, helping her team throughout the tournament. She scored in all the games that her team played. Stella Nyameche, and she has gotten 4 goals in this tournament. She walks away with player of the tournament. She deserves that though. Her level of intelligence in football is too much. And Afi Amenyaku, the goalkeeper of Ghana, gets the goalkeeper of the tournament. In the group stages, Afi Amenyaku conceded only 2 goals. And that was where she continued throughout to the grand finale and conceded again. So she conceded 3 goals and walks away with the goalkeeper of the tournament. A player of Northern Ladies, she would have to send this to her team as well. And that is another one being awarded to Stella Nyameche. This is a tournament that she would always celebrate. When Ghana's Black Princesses were going for the World Cup, there were a lot of school of thought for her to be included in the team, because this is a player that has a high level of intelligence for football. But the coaches who were in charge thought that she needed time to groom for such bigger opportunities, just as she has done here, helping her country to host and win. She scored in every game in this tournament. WAFU Zombie U20 Girls Cup finally comes to a glorious end here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Burkina Faso, as the runners-up, would soon be taking their respective medals. They beat Benin by 2 goals to 1 in the first game for today, and they walk away with a bronze medal. And Burkina had a lot of players who were very good. Burkina were beaten 3 goals to 1 by Ghana in the semi-finals, and that was how come they missed out on securing that slot to have played in the grand finale. In the whole tournament that Burkina Faso played, they conceded 7 goals, and they have something to walk away with, something to show forth for it when they are being welcomed in Burkina Faso for such a very good tournament that they had. And Stella Nyamiche comes back to the stage again. Tonight, she wouldn't sleep at all. A huge win for her. A huge win for the team that she led. Equally a huge win for the country's federation for football, for how she has indeed demonstrated to the world that women's football in Ghana has evolved, and she is one of such products, a player of dreams, ladies, living her dreams on the world stage. So the Burkinabés are getting their respective medals, and they smile through. Fauziatu getting hers, and then Naomi Adeli Cabri, Cynthia Diana Kabori, Monifa to Helby, all of them getting the medals that they gallantly fought for to be in the third place. Theresa Olivia, Adeline Kabori, Alimata Belem, their captain, Chlorotide, Latifatu, Florentine, and then Salamatu together with Congo Adama. And that is Olivia with her medal. After their game, they waited to take their medals, and then they take turns to get it. Derby tournament proving remarkable. A huge win for women football in the continent. In the following edition, a different country would have to host it. And Ghana, who have won it today, would have to qualify for that tournament and try to defend it as well. Great job done by Burkina Faso as they walk away with bronze in this tournament. Their coach, Pascal Sawadogo, who led the team after a very difficult end of the tournament. And the officials for the day will get their respective medals as well. Natasha Kolan was the center referee for today. She equally had assistance from referees from Ivory Coast and then Senegal. And now the second best team of the tournament, the Falconets of Nigeria, would have to mount the podium and take their respective medals. This, obviously, from their countenances, isn't what they bargained for. But that is how it has ended with. At least they have something to show forth for it. Olise getting her medal. Florence Oluchi, Esther Chinera Mercy Kalu, Taiwo Afolabi, Jumoke Victoria Alani, Esther Okweyemi Ajakaye, who had 6 goals. And then Amina Bello, Flourish Sebastine, all of them walking onto the podium. Shukrat Oladipo, and then Chidima Oguchi. All of them getting their titles and medals, and that is Blessing Ngozi Emmanuel, Chioma Olise, Chuamaka. They are getting medals. Coach Christopher Danjuma Musa, he would see this as a defeat, having been to the World Cup last year and leaving the tournament in the quarter-final stage and coming all the way to Ghana for this inaugural tournament and losing on penalties. He would see this as a defeat. But then again, that equally would be a learning curve for him to know what to prepare. From the way the Nigerians took their respective penalties, it was obvious that they didn't bargain to be in the penalty shootouts. They didn't even do that during training because they thought that the potency that they had up front, from the likes of Flores to Bastin, Amina Bello, and Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye, could have done them the job. So Esther Ogbeyemi Ajakaye walks away with the top scorer of the tournament, and Esther is not getting smiles. You should understand that she failed to shine when it mattered the most for her in this grand finale. So once the Nigerians are done as the runners-up, it's now 10 for the champions. The Ghanaians are taking turns. And look at Helen Alumenu, who is all smiles. Abena Anuma Opoku. And Success, Mariam Ponsa. As they line up, a Success who goes for the first for the Ghanaians. Mariam Ponsa follows suit. She's claiming her second title in 3 weeks. She won the Ghana Women's Premier League, and here she is winning the inaugural Wafu Zombi Under-20 Girls Cup. Faiza Saidu, who had 1 goal for the team. Sarah Koulibaly of Army Ladies. And all the other goalkeepers of the Ghanaians, including Deborah Brown. Georgina, who missed her penalty. Rose Boachua, who played in the semis. And Deborah Brown there getting hers. Comfort Iabua equally getting her second title in 3 weeks. Mefie Nyame, Afi Amenyeku. And now it's 10 for the coaches that led these girls to such a glorious end in this tournament to take their medals. And the coach, Yusuf Bazigi, gets a warm embrace from the president of the Ghana Football Association, who doubles as the president of Wafu Zone B, Kurt E.S. Okreku. And as the norm has always been, the captain stays behind, who is very itchy to grab this title. And it would be presented to her by the president of Wafu Zone B, Kurt E.S. Okreku. The champions are waiting, and he joins the team in order to make their presentation to them. And there they are, champions of the inaugural Wafu Zone B Under-20 Girls Cup. The Black Princesses of Ghana have their stars shining very gloriously this evening. They are winners of this prestigious tournament. Host and win mission accomplished. Success, Georgina, Mariam Ponsa, they are all very delighted. And that is how we wrap up for this tournament. Ghana's Black Princesses are the winners of the inaugural Wafu Zone B U20 Girls Cup that was hosted by Ghana. A very joyous day. They are ecstatic. They are in great joy. They have done what others thought they couldn't do.